Hi, hello and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto and our journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the 7th round of the 1965 season, the German Grand Prix. It was held on the 1st of August, it had 21 entries, all of them took part in the race with 11 ending up retiring. The race consisted of 15 laps completed in 2 hours, 7 minutes and 52 seconds. Jim Clark started the race from pole, Stewart started from second but retired on lap 2 due to a broken suspension. Graham Hill was third on the grid, Surtees started fourth and retired on lap 11 after a gearbox failure. Dan Gurney started from fifth and Spence started from sixth but retired on lap 8 thanks to a broken transmission. After a phenomenal drive, Clark won the German Grand Prix from Hill, who crossed the line in second, 15.9 seconds later. Gurney, who started from 5th, ended up in 3rd, 21.4 seconds behind Clark. Jochen Rindt went from 8th to 4th, he was 3 minutes, 29.6 seconds behind. Brabham was on a roll because he went from 14th to 5th, he was 4 minutes, 41.2 seconds behind. And Lorenzo Bandini started from 7th and ended the race in 6th, 5 minutes 8.6 seconds behind. Clark was also the fastest man of the race, posting a time of 8 minutes 24.1 seconds on lap 10. Welcome back to the extraordinary Nordchleife circuit, where a lap starts off with a long sprint down into turn 1, a slow left-hander that leads immediately into turn 2, a slow 180-degree right-hand hairpin. Then, after a long straight, we come into turn 3, a medium-speed left-hander. Later, we come through a medium-speed right-hander. Be careful through here, as going wide could end your race. Later still, we come through a slow left-hander that crosses a narrow bridge. Be extremely careful through here. A few corners later, we come through another slow right-hander that also crosses a bridge. This leads up the hill through this blind right-hander. Don't apply too much power on the exit, or you will spin. Eventually, we make our way into the carousel. Slow down and take your time. Focus on keeping the car in the bowl. Later on, we come through the mini carousel. This one's faster, but you should still focus on keeping the car in the bowl. Then, after a very long right-hander, we come onto the longest straight in Formula 1. This ends with a fast left-hand sweeper that brings us around onto the main straight, and that is a lap around the Nordschleife circuit. And here we are in qualifying for the German Grand Prix, coming around to set our first and only qualifying lap. There was a car in the middle of the circuit there, but that doesn't really matter, and we set a 8 minutes 31.986 second lap. And it seems that we shall move into the lead as I kind of mess up turn 2 here, but again that doesn't really matter because we are not going to make another qualifying lap because this circuit is so damn long. And here are the previous Grand Prix winners. The last time we managed to win here was actually in 1964, so that's quite good. Hopefully we'll be able to continue that. And we have Andy Higgs on pole with John Surtees in second, Graham Hill starting from third with Richie Ginther in fourth, Dan Gurney is fifth, followed by Denny Holm in sixth. Then we have Jochen Rindt in seventh, followed by Bruce McLaren in eighth. In ninth we have Pedro Rodriguez, followed by Lorenzo Bandini in 10th. In 11th we have Frank Gardner, followed by Joe Bonnier in 12th. 13th is Richard Atwood. 14th Jackie Stewart. 15th Joe Siffert. 16th Paul Hawkins. In 17th there's Nino Vaccarella, followed by Bob Anderson in 18th. 19th John Rhodes, Chris Amon 20th, and 21st is David Prophet in the David Prophet racing car. So that is the grid lineup, if I could talk, and hopefully this will be a good race for Andy, and well, we'll have to see how things go. And the flag is down and we are off, and we pull away from the pack almost immediately, quite well, as we rush into turn 1. There was a yellow flag for a brief second, not quite sure why. There goes another one as we now come through turn 1 and now turn 2, and we already have a 1 second lead, 1.5, almost 2 second lead on John Surtees, who is behind us just through 2 corners. That's quite a big gap to be having this early on, but well, that's that. And the gap keeps on increasing. It's now up to 3 seconds as we take a look at another replay of that start. A bit of wheel spin, but that's quite normal for these cars in this period. And there we have it, pulling away from John Surtees quite quickly. Not quite sure why the AI is so slow through the corners, but we do have a huge advantage on this circuit, mainly because there are so many corners. As we now move on to lap 2, coming through this left-hander, and the gap to second place, who is now Richie Ginther, is about 55 seconds now. And as we take a look at a replay of Chris Amon here coming through these twisty corners, there's a car on the side of the hill there, and then Chris Amon kind of crashes into him and gets stuck. The Ferrari manages to turn around and get back into the race, and whilst Chris Amon is left at the side of the road there, and he's out of the race. As we now move on to lap 3, pulling away from Richie Ginther still. We're almost 2 minutes ahead of him at this point, so the gap is absolutely huge at this point. The AI really has no chance against us in this race, it seems. As we take a look at a replay of John Sturtey trying to get around that Lotus and crashes into that no parking sign, so he probably shouldn't be parking there. Anyway, and we also have a replay of John Rhodes coming over the hill there, and we see smoke coming out of the rear of his car. He pulls to the side, and obviously he is out of the German Grand Prix with a fried engine. As we now come around to finish lap 3 and start lap 4, and we set the fastest lap of the race, 8 minute 29.320, so that's quite nice. Andy should be very happy with that. And here's a replay of that, crossing the line to set the fastest lap of the race. Again, Andy should probably be very happy about that. I don't know if he is, I never asked him. As we now move on to lap 5, and we are starting to run out of fuel. Only 17 liters of fuel remaining in our tank. That technically should hold up with, but with this game you never know. The gap now to Richie Ginther is almost 3 minutes, so we are far up ahead. As we take a look at a replay of Jochen Rindt, who has a problem with his suspension, but since he's on lap 5 he will be classified as a finisher, so it won't really affect his finishing position. And here we are coming around towards the end of the race. We have only 1 liter of fuel left in our tank. That's very, very close, and the engine is starting to sound quite odd. And there we go, no more fuel in the engine, and it cuts out. That's it, and we are now cruising towards the finish line. Hopefully we'll be able to get all the way to the end. I'm not sure though. This is we're slowing down more and more and more. Come on, you can do it. This is so freaking well, not exciting, but tense. Can we do it? Come on. We're slowing down every second. Come on, I can see the finish line now. Come on. Blow a little bit to help out our car. Come on, do it. Come on. 25 kilometers per hour. 20 kilometers per hour now. Come on. We can do it. There we go. And we win the German Grand Prix under, well, really, really odd circumstances. I have no words for that. As we take a look at the results, Ginther finishes second, Graham Hill third, fourth Pedro Rodriguez fifth, Dan Gurney and Bruce McLaren sixth. Obviously Andy Hicks posted the fastest lap of the race. And here we have more people who finished, including, as I said, Jochen Rindt, who retired on lap 5, which means he did complete more than 90% of race distance. And here are the only 3 retirements. So that was the German Grand Prix. Not a lot of action, at least not for Andy. We led the race from start to finish, and the only tense moment was here at the end of the race, where we ran out of fuel and pretty much coasted across the finish line. Something like this wouldn't really happen today. You would be disqualified because you have to have, I think, 1 lap of fuel left in the car when the weigh-in starts. But that didn't exist back in 1965, so we are quite safe. But anyway, here are the career statistics, and this was Andy's 138th Grand Prix. His best start is from first, has 14 pole positions, has set 25 fastest laps. His best finishes in first, has completed 91 races, 72 of them in the points, has won 41 Grand Prix, 4 at the Indianapolis 500, 6 in Monaco, has 8 championships under his belt, has scored a total of 489 points, has retired 47 times, has experienced 2,965 out of 3,645 laps, has 7 bronze trophies, 16 silver trophies, 41 gold trophies, and as an extension, 41 podiums. And here's a quick look at the championship standings. Richie Ginther still leading the championship at this point, and if I'm not mistaken and my math is correct, I think he just won the championship this season, so congratulations to Richie Ginther. Andy Higgs is in second thanks to his win here in Germany. Graham Hill third, fourth Jackie Stewart, Ronnie Bucknam fifth, and sixth Jack Brabham. The last person to score points is Joe Bonnier down in 19th, and bringing up the bottom of the drivers' standings is Mike Hillwood down in 33rd. So those are the driver standings, and once again I really think that Richie Ginther just won the drivers championship. I don't think there are enough points for anyone else to win at this point. So that is that, I guess. With that said, let's move on to the constructors, and here we have Honda Research and Development Company continuing to lead the Constructors Championship, with Owen Racing Organization in second, Otello Nucci third, fourth are Brabham Racing, North American Racing Team are fifth, Team Lotus sixth. The last team to score points are John Wilmot Automobiles in 12th, and bringing up the bottom of the constructors are Bob Gerard Racing down in 18th. And here I think there's still a slight chance for Owen Racing to take the championship, although I'm quite skeptical of that happening. Honda have been going very, very well this season, just as well as they did in 1964 with Andy at the wheel. But anyway, that was the German Grand Prix, a good result for Andy, kind of a boring race overall, not a lot has happened, not only 4 retirements, out of which one actually is classified as a finisher, so once again, the only tense moment was the final few hundred meters to the finish line, where we ran out of fuel, which is, well, kind of bad. Thankfully, we didn't run out of fuel earlier, because that would have ended our race, obviously. Anyway, our next race is the Italian Grand Prix at the fantastic Monza circuit, so looking forward to that one. A big race, obviously, always. But yeah, that is it for this video, and I don't really have anything more to add to any of this, so yeah, don't forget to vote for next season's team. Link, as always, is in the description. I also have a second channel where I will be playing all sorts of different games. At the moment, I'm doing a playthrough of The Darkness 2 and the movies, so if you're interested in any of those games and more, there will be a link in the description to my second channel as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.